Okay. All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And as you can see in the title, how feeble-minded you are. Okay, and this is a title that came into mind when I first saw this article that you see before you, at least this headline, from zerohedge.com. Now it says here over, and I'm not gonna read it verbatim because we know how these devils work, but it says here over 300, uh, you know, uh, what's the word? I don't even remember the code words that we use for this anymore, man. But the C, all right, over 300 of the big C papers, um, or the Pan-D, withdrawn for not meeting standards of scientific soundness. You hear that? Of not meeting standards of scientific soundness. So I'm just gonna read this beginning part real quick. And as you can see, it says research journals have withdrawn well over 300 articles on the C9 due to compromised ethical standards and concerns about the publication's scientific validity. So, and I'm sure you have articles that are on both sides. Okay, but when you read this article, the direction you get from it is mainly you had a lot of a massive push, all right, during the Pan-D, and it was sort of like a free for all, where it's like anything that was said that was in the direction of the narrative was okay. It was you take it and you run with it, you publish it, you go with it for the sake of X, Y, and Z. But now, right, they're sort of playing the angle of, oh, we now we've gone through it, we've learned what we've learned, we've made some errors here, but then we also learned things here, but now it's not a problem anymore, we don't have to worry about it anymore, and it's now over, we've passed it, the phase is gone. But when you can look at it from another lens, which is, was there a certain goal, was that they wanted to get, was there a certain target they wanted to reach, because when you listen throughout to the rhetoric throughout, it kept on changing. At first it was 6 feet apart, then put the mask on and take it off, then like Future, right? Mask on, nah, fuck that, mask off, what I'm saying? Like they say do one thing, then they say no, 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 matter of fact, go in reverse, don't do that. All right, then they say you got to get herd immunity. Then nope, at this point it doesn't matter. You got to take one. Nope, now you got to take two. Nope, no, now you got to take three. Oh, I'm sorry, now you got to take four. So the reason I titled it "How Feeble-Minded You Are" is because I remember very vividly, um, when you go back. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can actually find this. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Let's go right here and bear with me. All right. So I remember doing a video on this going back, geez, maybe some years ago, maybe a couple of years ago, a year or two ago. Not really too sure. See if I can find it. Let me see. Let me see. I think maybe I can just search it. When or what will we do? No, it's not this one. But I remember doing a video prior to um when they come. There we go. Here it is. This is 2 years ago. All right. Shit. Sorry. Not 2 years ago. 3 years ago. Okay. this is 3 years ago. I did a video which was in response to the video that was done by the elder Manat Ba, okay, which is what should we do if they come for us? And this was dealing with the CV, the because we knew that they were going to come out with a Vanessa for this thing, and that they were going to use that, to try and come after brothers, come for your jobs, and come for this, and come for that, and come for this, and the third. And because of that, we warned you ahead of time before they even came out with it. We warned you that, hey, this is exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna come for your jobs. They're gonna come for X, Y, and Z. But stand firm and keep your faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And lo and behold, the time came. They came out with some rushed, experiment, and then they started throwing it out there. They started throwing out incentives that wasn't working fast enough. Then they turned it into mandates, and then people started running back, say, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" And they're coming for my job, and this, that, and the third, and X, Y, and Z. And we told you, you still keep your faith and trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. But you had so many people that some that actually believed that this is gonna help you and protect you against whatever, and some that just caved in. They didn't have the mental fortitude. And you know what some people's excuse was? As crazy as it may sound, oh, so long as this is not the C hip, they're not gonna take the C hip, which is the MOTB. But so long as this is not the C hip, then they're good. They're gonna take this. But when the C hip comes, they ain't gonna take that. I heard that so many times. And I remember saying that if you can't withstand the temptation of this, just to not take this thing and let them do this to you, how are you going to withstand the temptation of the hour of temptation with the MOTB? Because it was all just an excuse. But it goes to show you that a lot of people, and this was just a test, and really a minor test at that, compared to what's really about to come. Now, when this was happening and they shut down the whole planet, and this here and restrictions here and so on and so forth, and people were uncertain about what was happening and where it was going to lead, and how far they were going to take it, people were so easily able to succumb without maintaining their faith. You had there was this one female pastor that told her congregation to trust the science, and guess what? She went and trusted it, and that shit led her to the spirit world real quick. And she's supposed to be a pastor. What happened to having faith? What happened to the scriptures that talk about ye shall eat poison and live, and no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper? And yet something like this happens, and you run right down to Esau for help. So now the question is, now that they're doing this U-turn, right? They're doing this U-turn on this whole situation, but for a good majority of people, they have already drunk of the juice. They already been hit with the potion. They've already been stung by the scorpion, by the serpent, been bitten by the serpent. So now the question is, okay, they're telling you that pretty much that was for nothing, because it didn't do anything for you. The those that took it for protection, it's really null and void now. And those that took it because they were under a mandate, guess what? Now they're repealing those mandates. So now the question is, you're stuck with something that you don't know if it's something dormant within you, if there's more potential dangers. You don't know that. You don't know if they're gonna come out in a month or two and say, "Oh, by the way, we found out that it's X, Y, and Z. Is actually causing this, that, and the third." You don't know that, so you're always gonna live with that in the back of your mind of, "Damn, what if you develop something years down the line or months down the line?" You don't know. All right, but it goes to show you how easily they can manipulate the minds of the people, the minds of the masses, with just a little bit of uncertainty, a sprinkle of fear, a sprinkle of propaganda and narrative here and there. And they already got people in the palm of their hands with things that clearly and obviously didn't make sense. And all you had to do was just think for yourself, right? And even till today, you still got people walking around in this hot ass heat with masks on, in the open air, outside. Anyway, it says here, a total of 330 research papers have been retracted. Wait a minute. Why is that? So it says, during the pandemic, researchers have compromised on on ethical standards and tried to either get more publications approved or take shortcuts around ethics. Senior researcher Gunvig Grodeland at the Institute of Immunology at the University of Oslo says, after going through the list of articles that have been withdrawn and the reasons for some of them, you see, they were trying to do the quick because they were trying to play along and go along with the narrative, and a lot of people fell for it. A lot of people fell for it, but hey, that was a test. Now it says, while it is quite yeah, so on and so forth. Let me see if there's any more here. Okay, it says here she pointed out that other articles have been withdrawn after the editors noticed that the strategies the papers mentioned were giving the wrong impression in the media of being recommended as actual treatment or prevention of yada yada. Um, it says she said these sorts of articles had to be withdrawn as they claim things that neither the authors or the articles nor their institutions could vouch for. Now, this goes on both ways, right? I'm sure they had articles in there that were saying, "Oh, trying this natural remedy would prevent this from, whatever the case is." But you also had articles on the other side that would say, "Oh, if you get this, it leads to this, or if you get this is this, or if you take this is that." Okay, all to find out that nah, that ain't really the case. But it's too late because you have taken action based off of those things. They've already misled tons of people. Okay, and actually led tons of people to their grave as well. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it says when more subjects were included, or actually just go up a bit. In addition, some studies did not include a large enough sample. When more subjects were included, the researchers could no longer maintain the same conclusions they made earlier about the effects of the drugs. Okay. And then it goes on, so on and so forth, man. But the whole point is now you're starting to see the truth come on. That's why the scriptures talk about not don't be hasty in a time of trouble. In Sirach, the second chapter, it tells you that. Make not haste in time of trouble. Okay. You have to cleave to the Lord and depart not away. And you had a lot of people that traded in their faith for whatever sense of security, false sense of security that Esau made you think you would get. And where did that lead you? Okay, now that everything is all coming to light, where did that lead you? So, I mean, it just goes to show you, man, there are different kinds of people in this world, but you don't want to be those with a feeble mind that are not rooted, okay, that fall for anything that is thrown your way. And these elites, guess what? This is why they're able to make the plans that they make. And at this point, they're not even hiding it anymore because they're at the point where they're like, we don't have to hide it. These people get deceived on such easy and light work things that we don't even need to stress. Although you have now a lot of social media sites that are exposing them, but then again, a good portion of those users on there also control the opposition. Anyway, let's get this. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And this was one of his devices. And we know that. And we know that this was a phase in the plan because it did a lot of damage. Not just on the topic of what it was and what what they brought forth, the Vanessa and the Pandy and the Seed Nine and all of that, but economic wise and sort of the direction that it set the world in order to fully go full steam ahead with this digitalization of everything. Okay, so they set it all up nicely, but as it says, we are not ignorant of his devices. That's why we didn't succumb to it. All right, we didn't go and line up and say, oh, we fear this or we fear that. We just prayed and put our faith and our trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and the Lord came through for us always because we trust in him, because we are rooted in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, but a lot of people that walk around today, well, I don't know if it's the food or the air or the water, but whatever it is, they got their minds messed up, and that's why I said that they're asleep. They're like the Walking Dead. They just they just go through the motions, but a lot of them don't actually stop and think for themselves and analyze things and question things and open up their eyes. Now, this is the book of Ephesians 4 and 14. It says that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Now, this is really mainly speaking about doctrine, and you have different wicked individuals. It's talking about being, sound in the faith and being perfect in the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, so you're not deceived or misled by these individuals that come around with, with their crafty, words to try and sway you away from the truth. However, I'm bringing this out in context of the feeble-minded, because that's basically what the Apostle Paul is saying here. You have to be fully persuaded in your own mind, and you have to be rooted. And in fact, if you are rooted in the knowledge of the Lord, you would know that the Lord has power over pestilence and all of those things. And whether you live or die is really in the hand of the Lord. So the ultimate Vanessa, right? The ultimate cure is faith in the Lord. Because whether you drank the potion or not, if the Lord said you were going to die, you were going to die. If he says you weren't, then you weren't. It's not determined by anything else other than the fact that the Lord ordains it. And then he just has it carry out through different manifestations, whether you caught a heart attack, you died in your sleep, you slipped in the shower, you got hit by a car, you caught a certain disease. Those are just physical manifestations of the judgments of the Lord. Although at the top and the center of it all is the go-ahead, is the green light that the Lord says, okay, put this guy to death or don't put him to death, spare his life. See, and if you understood that, you wouldn't have a feeble mind. And when it comes to Esau, with his sleight and cunning craftiness and him lying in wait to deceive and in all the things that he does, it wouldn't affect you. But here it is. Let them come out. You'd be surprised. Let them come out with something new, and you see how many people will fall for it. Because these people are susceptible to deception. They don't have anything to keep their minds guided and on the straight path. So their mind is just everywhere. They got demons hopping on, bringing in even more demons. And anytime they try to wake up, them demons suppress it even more. With what? Vanity, distractions. Now, this is the book of, because ultimately, what is that going to lead to? It's going to lead to the MOTB, and they're going to get people the same way again. Now, this is Revelation 19 and 20. It says, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him. Slaki, it says, with which he what? Deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. Okay, so there you go. He deceived. And who are they that are going to be deceived? Once again, the feeble-minded. Because guess what? You're going to have certain individuals that are actually going to take this MOTB because their pastor or whatever is going to tell them, oh, don't worry about it. It's not what they're saying it is. It's not that. Don't worry about it. You good. And they're actually going to believe that. Okay. And you're going to have some that are just, the desperation is going to be too much for them. But look, hey, if these devils can throw a freaking transformer in the church and make them a preacher and have them tell you that the Most High is a lesbian and he's bi and he's trans and all that, and have people eat it up, you think they can't come and get people to take this MOTB? This is one of their longest longest going plans that they've had in motion for a long time. So in their minds, they got every avenue covered. But guess what? They're not going to be able to get the elect. And this right here is going into their judgment and the judgment of those that get deceived by them, the feeble-minded. This is why you got to pray for a strong mind, one rooted and given to the law of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Because even more deceptive and destructive times are coming. And not only to keep you from being deceived, but to also keep you calm. Isaiah 33 and 6, to keep you mentally stable, because once you panic and you lose it, that's it. Okay, that's it for you. It's over. And a lot of people are going to bug out when they're going to lose it. That's right. This is your Wanathon Bakwara 144K. Job 12 and 6, with him is strength and wisdom, and the deceived and the deceiver are his. Yeah. So the Most High controls it all. He controls both sides. So in some cases, the Most High deceives you using his left hand. But that's why you got to pray that the Lord keeps your mind, strong and rooted, that you see through all the BS, you see through the deception, because a heavy load of it is coming, and not just from Esau's end, even more so in in this ministry. You have a lot of deceivers, okay, and deceptive narratives going around, and you got to pray for the eyes to see through it and remain diligent and remain focused and remain on the right path. But anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kudash. Until next time, Shalom.